Hey guys, what's up? It's MatchPoint here, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you all of the information you will need for the different sight attachments in Rainbow Six Siege. So if you do find this video useful, consider dropping a like on the video. And if there are any topics that you would like me to cover next, or if you do have a specific topic that you are struggling with and would like me to cover it, well, make sure to comment them down below so I know to do them. And really quickly, I would just like to let you all know that I do have a Discord server for any Siege related discussions, including a chance for you to ask me any questions you have about Siege, and I will give you some tips for that specific question. The link is down below in the description, so make sure to go ahead and check it out. If you are new around here, welcome, and I hope you enjoy the video. So let's get right on into it. In Siege, we do have the 4 main attachments for your sights, and they are the Holographic Sight, the Acog Sight, the Reflex Sight, and the Red Dot Sight, all of these in which are applied to many weapons across the game. Now the way this is going to work is I'm going to talk about each sight and break them down into the various points. I'm going to be giving you examples on where they should be played with the different operator roles, including examples for different operators and also the disadvantages and advantages of each sight. If you would like to see more content like this, well, make sure to go ahead and drop a like on the video and consider subscribing if it is useful to you. So let's get right on into it, starting off with the Holographic Sight. This sight will replace your standard iron sights with a holographic precision sight. There will be an example of what this sight looks like on your screen now. And remember, this video will be covering the basic parts of the sights and also with more advanced parts when we delve deeper into the roles in which they fit. The holographic is definitely one of the best sights that Siege can give you. The sight is extremely well-rounded for many situations and many distances. It favours well at short range, and it is best at medium range, and it does also favour well at long range, therefore making it the all-rounder. Due to the sight not zooming in at extremely high amounts, it does allow you to see quite a lot of your surroundings. This can keep you alert and aware of your surroundings, and therefore it does make a fantastic option for roamers. For example, we'll take an Acog Sight, which we will be coming on to later on in the video. But if you did decide to go ahead and pick an operator which has access to that Acog Sight and play as a roaming role, well, it would be very difficult to use it beneficially. While it may favour when holding down that angle when you're turning a corner, however, it isn't going to help when you're having to react quickly to your surroundings and flick onto various enemies. You're going to be locked in and zoomed in, and you'll almost become tunnel visioned. Therefore, the holographic sight is the one to go for. The reticle used on the holographic sight is fantastic and can really help when hitting those headshots. While the box containing the reticle may seem like it does take up a large amount of the screen, well, actually when you compare it to the others, it does allow you to see quite a lot of your surroundings still. And even when playing the anchoring role, if the holographic sight is your best choice there, well, it is a fantastic one for anchoring as well. Like I mentioned before, it is the all-rounder. The next sight that we have on the list is going to be the Reflex Sight. The Reflex Sight is designed for those short-range encounters, and it can fare well at the medium ones, but is very strong at the short range. At the long range it is very weak though, and you will find that. Now the Reflex Sight will suit entry fraggers quite nicely, and in addition to this, I didn't mention it before, but that holographic sight will in fact suit entry fraggers very nicely as well, due to it having that optimal range for that aggressive playstyle. This sight will not take up as much of your screen as the holographic one will, as it replaces those standard iron sights with a 1x triangular reticle sight. Therefore you will have a clearer perspective of the view, which is why this sight will thrive in those close range encounters. It has the ability to be even more aware of your surroundings and therefore flick to whatever you need to. In addition to this, the box surrounding the reticle is quite minute and therefore it won't be blocking much of your vision. If you're finding some of the other sights overwhelming, then this is the one to go for. It will allow you to see your surroundings and have that high precision aim at close range. That green triangular reticle is very popular, and the reason being is, again, it is such a small reticle that it is going to widen your field of view, and as well, it can be perfect for lining up those headshots. As soon as you manage to lock on that triangle onto their head, you'll be aiming right for that headshot. Certain operators where I would go ahead and take that Reflex Sight and swap it out for a holographic one would be examples on Mirror's primary weapon of the Vector, and another example would be in Legion's case when he does use that SMG. I would go ahead and put the Reflex on that, as it can be very useful at short range or lock on to those headshots. Just remember though, when you are in those long range encounters, you are going to struggle. A, with the sight being very small and it not zooming in, and also with that reticle, as it can be quite hard to go ahead and pinpoint them with that distance. Now we are going to be moving on to the Acog Sight now and talking about all of the disadvantages and advantages that it has, including various roles that it will suit. The Acog Sight provides a 2.5x magnification for long distance engagements. This sight is definitely up there when it comes to the community. It is a fan favourite. This sight is incredible for long range engagements, and it can really help you to go ahead and zoom in and pinpoint your target. As well as this, it will favour quite well in those medium range engagements, as again, with it being a 2.5x sight, it is going to help you out. Now you may be thinking in terms of close range that surely this sight isn't going to be very popular because of it. The fact is, it is the best sight for going ahead and engaging in those long range gunfights, and as well as those medium ones as well. And the short range engagements aren't as common as the long range ones. You will often find yourself in situations where you need to go ahead and use that long range sight to your advantage instead of the short range ones. Also, if you do catch yourself in a short range engagement, then you do have those secondaries, and there are many SMGs available to hand which will act as a fantastic secondary for you. While the sight may slightly take up a bit bigger than usual of your screen, it is going to provide you with that high precision accuracy. The reticle attached to the sight is fantastic with that little arrow pointing upwards to go ahead and pinpoint your enemy, and also it does make a great job of aiming for those headshots. Another little detail that will make this sight very favourable. If you are going to be playing an anchor role with an operator, well, if you do get access to that Acog sight, it is going to make your life a whole lot easier. The anchor role is designed to go ahead and hold down those long and tight angles, therefore a longer sight and a more zoomed in sight like the Acog will help you out. Imagine having to hold a long angle where the attacker is going to be pushing through, maybe an entry point, and you're using a Reflex Sight. That is going to be very hard to go ahead and pinpoint and snap onto their heads and take them out. Instead, that Acog Sight is going to help you out a lot more. When you're attacking and playing that support role, an Acog Sight can be a good option for you to go ahead and take. It can allow you to go ahead and hold down those tight angles when you're covering the plant, or if you're watching any flanks from the roamers. Now we are going to be moving on to the final main sight, which is going to be the red dot sight. The red dot sight is looked down upon by the community because of its reticle. It is extremely big and does take up quite a bit of your screen. This sight can be decent for those short range encounters and the medium ones, but doesn't do too well at the long range encounters. If the Reflex Sight doesn't suit you too well, you can in fact go ahead and change to this one, as it might suit you better. Now that we have covered the four main sights in Rainbow Six Siege, we are going to be moving on to a different category of the Russian sights, as their variants are different. First of all, we'll be taking a look at the Holographic Sight for the Russian side of things. I would recommend avoiding this sight as the reticle is completely awful, and it does have that box around it which does take up a wide majority of your screen. And realistically, there aren't many advantages to compensate for this sight. Moving on to the Russian Reflex Sight, we do have a sight that will replace your iron sights with a 1x triangular reticle sight. Overall, this reticle isn't too bad at all. It doesn't obstruct the view, and the box surrounding it doesn't take up a large majority of your screen. Therefore, you can be more aware to your surroundings. Regarding the long range and the short side of things, well, it is going to thrive at that short range, not at the long range, as it will fare quite weak. This sight will be suited to those medium and short range engagements. Now moving on to the Russian variant of the Acog Sight, which does provide a 2.5x magnification for long distance engagements. The reticle is fairly standard here and can make for some great use at long range. With it being a 2.5x sight, it is obviously going to be suited at long range and medium, but can fare okay in those short range engagements. The overall box/ring around it is quite small, and it doesn't take up too much of your screen in comparison to the Acog. Next, moving on to the Russian variant of the red dot sight, and it will suit those close distance and medium distance engagements. However, it won't fare too well at the long range ones. The reticle is definitely suitable to use, and the overall ring around it is very skinny at the top, however it does enlarge at the bottom. Therefore you may find it does take up slightly more of your screen. However, overall a different option in comparison to the Reflex Sight. It's down to you. And that is going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you have all enjoyed. If you did, or you found this video useful, then make sure to go ahead and leave a like on the video and subscribe for more tips and tricks like this. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.